Gender equality is when people of all genders have equal rights, responsibilities, and opportunities. But in reality, this is not so. There is a gender bias against women. But how do we break this? All right, these and many more are the things we're going to discuss today with my guest. My name is Adetola Oni, and after this time out, I'll let you in on who my guest is. Welcome back. My guest is in-house right now, but before I let you see her, I would show you a short video about who she is. Her name is Mrs. Johanna Adeyileka. But just sit tight and watch this short video about her.
Johanna Adetileka is on a mission to promote good social ethics to children and adults, making it simple for each person to comprehend at any level. She is a MD, Recognition Plus Limited, a company that gets you noticed for the right reasons. She is also the founder and executive producer of Let's Face It with Joe, a social media handle that talks on controversial relationship topics, counseling, and holistic health and beauty issues. Mommy Etiquette, as she is fondly called, was born in England and studied catering and hospitality management. She proceeded to study professional and non-vocational courses, including counseling and family systems engineering. In her over 6 decades on earth, she has learned that good manners and good character are the bedrock of any successful society, and this is one of the reasons she was headhunted by the Office of the First Lady, Lagos State, Nigeria, to speak at the conference for the Committee of Wives of Lagos State Officials. She has also been privileged to facilitate several reputable companies on etiquette, customer service, and business ethics. She is married to engineer Ben Adeyileka, and they are blessed with 3 children. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's make welcome Mrs. Johanna Adeyileka.
All right, that was a short profile of Mrs. Johanna Adeyileka, and she's here with me today. Welcome, ma.
Thank you so much.
It's nice to see you again after a long time.
Yes, it is.
All right, so let's get down to business. What is gender bias against women to you?
Exactly what you said. It's against women. It's a prejudice against women, professionally, socially, and in all aspects of life, where a woman will feel less professional, less strong in society because of that prejudice of being a woman.
All right, less strong in the society. Do we now need, or do we have to assert ourselves in the society, in the workplace?
Absolutely.
Then how do we do this?
Well, the thing is that many women in our society are feeling undermined because, we have some people who are in a male-dominated profession. So those women who are in such professions always believe that, well, I'm here. For example, if you have a female in the engineering sector, she may have been qualified, she may have had the experience. However, being in a male gender profession, she probably feels as though, okay, I'm not only battling with the job, I'm battling with the men I'm working with. And because of that, a lot of women now become either very arrogant in their position, or they feel as though they're not producing as much or as well as the men are.
Okay, so if as women we feel like this, do you think we have the opportunity to stand shoulder to shoulder with men, especially in certain professions?
I believe we can, but oftentimes we don't. And one of the reasons why this happens is, it is natural for women to get married. And shortly after marriage, most women would want to venture into motherhood. And when they do that, then they require more from the company they work with than the men do. For example, if a woman is in the job and she's pregnant, she's going to have time out for maternity visits. When she has the baby, she has maternity leave. When she comes back from maternity leave, she's also got the childcare situation to deal with. If the child is sick, she's got to be there. All of these things do not happen to the men in the professional setting. So that's why women, yes, we can be as strong as the men. However, that clause in women is what prevents a lot of employers from taking on women, even though professionally they deserve it.
All right, so looking at these biases, can we say that they're actually caused by women themselves?
Good question.
Or is it by men?
Actually, women are very prejudiced against each other. For example, if you have someone who is a director in a company and another woman applies for a job, she would not only look at her qualification on paper, she would also look at the woman. Is she more beautiful? You know, are the men in the company going to be more attracted to her than them? You know, women...
Most especially if the woman is a younger woman.
Absolutely, because, you know, the younger woman has more assets than the older woman.
This is getting interesting.
So obviously she will look at that. She will also say that if she's younger, is it possible that she could knock her out of that position? Whereas if it's a man, he would at least, you know, consider those type of things. Then when you look at it as well, men are always not that interested in bringing women in because they feel that they will use their gender against them. So they will have excuses as to why things happen. Oh, and he hurt me, he said something. And also when you look at being liable for sex discrimination, it's always very tough on the men in the industry because men could say something that we would take as a joke. But if that woman is in a position whereby she's looking for a reason to get her promotion, a reason to get compensation, it would be very easy to say the man touched her where he shouldn't touch her, or he said something that referred to her gender. So men like to run away from that. And like you mentioned initially, the envy, the jealousy, the cat type woman who is in a position to employ women and promote women in the industry may not do that very easily.
Okay, so now we've talked about men being biased against women, other women being biased against other women. Then I am looking down on myself as a woman. How do we, because that is even, I think that's the most dangerous part of it. How do we help women in this situation?
Well, women have got to help themselves. That's the first rule.
I go to a place, I think the place is male dominated, and I already look down myself.
So this is where, in my teaching, I try and teach women that they have to be confident in themselves. You know, there are others that have read to PhD level, professor level, but if they are not confident within themselves, no matter where they work, it's going to be very difficult for them to rise into the positions they're supposed to be. Now, gender prejudices will always be there. You understand?
So I'd like to break you there. Confidence in themselves.
Yes.
Should we trace it back to the home front?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So how do we help right from the home front to stop this so that when the girl child grows up, she has confidence in herself, in her skill?
This goes back to parents, to one's background,
mothers.
To one's mothers. Let's talk about mothers, because mothers have the opportunity to train up that child independently and strong with confidence, whether the child is a male child or a female child. So then the mother would veer away from saying a woman belongs in the kitchen or a woman is the only one who does shopping or cooking. Are you with me? So we should be training our children equally to understand that there's a responsibility we all have. I may be veering off what you've said, but I even want to set examples of a brother and sister, male and female, and the male child slaps the female child. And some parents may accept that either he's older or he's a boy, and he can do that. But little do we realize that such actions will have this boy child grow up believing a woman is less honored than him. And I can actually go on to being...
No, but I think we should stay on that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember growing up, we were 4 girls and 2 boys.
Yes.
But my parents, especially my mom, trained the girls more. My mom started preparing me she would always tell me, you will soon be married, even right from the age of 10 or less than. So all of this, you should know how to cook, you should know how to clean the house, you should know how to do this. But the boys are just... I remembered one day I was in the kitchen and my brother walked in and my father was like, no, that's a place for the girls, not the boys.
Exactly.
I felt so bad that day. So who is training this boy child so that when he grows up, he respects the female counterparts that he meets at the workplace?
Who is spoiling the male child? No one more or less than the mother. Now,
I beg to differ. Why must it be the mother?
Okay, what happens in many marriages is the marriage nowadays, even in the Christian home, is failing. And because a lot of men are not giving the mothers, their wives, the love that they promised to give them on that wonderful day called getting married. So when the mother realizes that I'm not being loved the way I should be, who is the next person they turn to? It's the son. And because the son is young,
especially the first son.
Especially the first son. He will always look at his mother as his first love. And that's probably the mother's last love, the boy child. So therefore, what she doesn't gain from the husband, or what she's lost from the husband, is what she gains from the son. And that's the area of motherhood we need to break.
I would like you to explain that. The mother is the first son's
first
love and the last love
of the mother.
Can you explain that?
The thing is that children, especially male boys, are always very close to their mothers, naturally. Then the mother looks at her son, especially the first son, as her last love. Meaning that she looks onto her son or sons as being the ones who gave her the true love that she expected from her husband. So it's until you're in it, you probably wouldn't understand. But I'm sure you have boys.
Yeah, I have boys.
So you have an idea that the expectation of what the boys look for from you, you are very willing to help them because you feel as though you have that responsibility and that affection, deep affection for sons. So that's what I'm saying. That is part of what is our problem in society generally, especially in the African society, in the African culture. We need to let go of that. We need to break that umbilical cord and neutralize that deep affection we have for our sons and make it uniform between sons and daughters, and let the boys understand that a woman is equal to you. Now that may sound unbiblical because the Bible tells us that the man is the head of the home. But until we, as mothers, we begin to train them the same way, then this is going to continue to be a problem for many mothers.
All right, so let's move back to these biases that we're talking about. Should it be some kind of tonic to push a woman into achieving our goals?
A tonic in what sense?
Now, we claim that we're being biased. should that be some kind of, should it be some kind of push for us to achieve our goals?
It should, but there's always that blockage of motherhood. I mean, it surprises
that's a
me.
natural thing for us. Why should it affect us in any way?
I mean, when you look at the ratio of girls, female children that are graduates, they double, if not triple, the number of male children who become graduates. Mm-hmm. So what happens? Where is that break? We should have women in top positions, and they should be consistently in top positions. So motherhood is something that breaks it. Now, when you look at successful women, I don't know how they do it, but they tend to manage children and manage their professions.
But I think before they get to that point, some of them would have gone on a maybe 10-year break.
Exactly.
Just to look after
I'll use myself as an example. I took out almost 14 years from my career because of my children.
Wow.
However, it did work out. And there was an agreement between my husband and I. He would work and I would stay at home. Now, I had every time possible for my children, whether it was educationally, whether it was socially, whether it was medically, everything, I was there.
Or were you fulfilled?
I was, actually. And it makes me feel better when I know what my children have achieved today.
No, but then, staying at home, looking after them, how did you feel? Or were you doing something from home?
No, I was totally dedicated to the children. And a lot, like you mentioned, a lot of successful women do the same. But it's a matter of choice. You see, not every woman is maternal, even though they have children. Some women just have the children because they know they're supposed to. However, once they've given birth to them, somebody else takes responsibility of the children and they carry on with their lives.
But now you're fulfilled, your children are grown now and they've achieved.
Yes.
And you're back.
Yes.
But would you say, is it not too late for you to go back to your career?
It depends on your career path. You know, some may say you've lost out on 14 years of experience. How do we want to take you on?
You could change your career then.
You could change, which is what I did.
Oh. Things women go through. It's so emotional for me, right? Okay, so how do we close this gender gap?
I think we need more entrepreneur women who are MDs and CEOs to take responsibility and to take away the prejudices of being biased against each other. You know, if women were to support each other much more than they do, we would not be saying the same things. Like me, I'm a mother. I've taken time out. If I know that someone is well suited for a position, I wouldn't think twice about employing them.
Even if she's a woman?
Even if she's a woman. However, as a business person, if I had to look at it on the books, that how is this going to work for my organization, then I may not be in a hurry to employ women. And yes, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Women against women.
No, I said I would employ women. However, if I had to look at the books, you know, part of the interviewing skills that I would, you know, introduce is, you know, you're married, okay? Do you have children? No. Do you intend having children? Yes, like, that's what would be for some.
Okay.
But for me, because I've gone through the process, it wouldn't be a problem. So I would employ women, and I plead with women not to use the femininity within their profession. You know, some women are soft. They believe, I have a child, I can't do it. I love my child so much. Yes, we all love our children. But when you have chosen a career path, you must, you know, induce the idea that, okay, this career path requires me to work 6 days a week from this time to that time. if issues come about with my children, how will I deal with it? It should be something they're thinking about well before it happens. So they should be prepared. Women, I would advise that whatever you're going to do in your life, try and stand up to that position. Stop using your gender as an excuse, because it's demeaning women. And don't go and have 5 children when really 2 is going to be ideal.
But what if that is what I want?
If that's what you want, then you also have to know that may go against you for your profession.
So you wouldn't want to employ me so I don't go maternity leave every year?
Yes, if that's the case, I'm not ashamed to say that. But, it's just, employment is a choice.
So many odds against women.
There are so many odds.
Unfair.
And you've forgotten the one, that I'm a black woman. A black woman in a society with white men. How do I cope with that?
You have to work 3 times as hard.
I remember I was head of department in Edinburgh, and one of the workmen came from outside. And when he came into my office, he went straight to one of my supervisors. Oh, you're right, love. Are you the manager? And they just went, so
a woman?
Looked like woman, black,
Oh my, you're a woman, you're black.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
And I was English as well, because this was in Edinburgh. So it's there are so many prejudices that we have to overcome. I am not afraid to stand in any position with men around me, even African men, you understand. And when they begin to turn our conversation into, the gender to our woman, no, I'm not there for that. So women have to know their marbles. They've got to know what they're talking about, because a man will very easily pull you down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Johanna Adeyileka. It's been fun having this discussion with you.
Thank you. We could go on forever.
Yeah, I know we'll come back again and talk about this. Yeah. You nailed it on the head. You said you are not afraid to stand shoulder to shoulder with any man in your industry or anywhere you meet yourself. Thank you very much. And I think we'll see you again.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. That's a word for it. Nobody has the permission to put you down. Nobody has the permission to make you feel inferior. So stand up and do what you're meant to do. That's the word. No gender bias. We're fighting it and we'll win. All right, I'll see you again. I'm Adetola Oni. Bye-bye.